Hello everyone. So as a disclaimer, this is probably the billionth time I'm trying to record myself over this video because usually I just feel kind of awkward making these voiceovers. And you know, obviously you wouldn't know because you don't hear all the recordings that I'm making beforehand, you only hear the final one, but I just thought it's funny and I would maybe let you know. So when I woke up today, I tried to plan what I will be doing in this video, and I thought to myself, you know, if there's one thing that I don't usually make, it's purely black and white spreads, because I usually like a pop of color. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing a black and white spread because I thought that it would be interesting since I don't usually make those. Now, the picture, like the photograph that I'm using, I will be crediting the original source in the description below. As per usual, it's a copyright-free image. I have permission to use it, so you know, it's all fine and dandy. And right now I'm doing one of my least favorite things, and that is cutting out excess edges, because I don't like it, because I usually struggle with it, especially when I reach like the spine of my sketchbook. I find it a little bit difficult to like cut out that piece of paper. I think that if you see my videos, you can definitely kind of tell, because I think I struggled with it in some other videos too. So anyhow, this drawing that you're seeing right now is actually one of my drawings that I made a while back, and I like the general vibe of it, but the one thing that I don't like about it is I think the proportions are off. You know, like how big the body is compared to how big the head is, and that is because I don't like drawing in pencil. I like drawing directly in pen, so I don't have any sketch to base my drawing on, so I basically like draw directly in pen. So if I mess up, then there's not really much of a way for me to fix it. Usually I don't mess up, but this time I'm not so crazy about the proportions, so that's why I will be cutting up the drawing. Right now I'm just placing a bit of paper down onto my sketchbook because I want to create more visual interest. You know, I just don't want a blank page there. I want it to be a little bit more interesting. And right after I'm finished with this, I will start cutting up my drawing. Now, I think the drawing is okay, but if there was one person that really liked it, it was my boyfriend, and I haven't told him that I will be cutting it up, so I hope he doesn't mind, you know. But yeah, I think this is a better way to use it than to just keep it on my shelf and like not really enjoy the proportions and like not do anything with it because of that. So, you know. But I definitely think that if you want to make sort of like a more interesting drawing, if you have black paper and a white pen, because you don't usually see that color scheme, you know, black paper, like black background and white lines, so it just makes the drawing a little bit more interesting just by that. Now, if I want to change one thing about this drawing is the paper that I used, actually, because it's not actual paper, it's thicker than a regular paper, so you know, it's not actually cardboard or anything, but it's thicker, so it's harder to glue down, especially with regular glue. You know, I usually like to use double-sided duct tape because that holds so well, but I ran out of it recently while I was filming a video for this channel, actually. Now, I initially had a plan to like draw more eyes and stick them on the photograph, but I'm using this black pen for this because I wanted more contrast, you know, like I wanted a white background with like black art on it, but the black pen just sort of decided to give up halfway through. So the second eye that I'm drawing is actually kind of grayish and really not nice, so I had to give up on that idea, and instead I will be taking some scraps of paper that were left when I cut my drawing, and again, using my white pen, I will be drawing eyes on those instead. So I actually really like that white pen, and I will need to repurchase one of those because I am quite close to running out of ink on it, you know, but other than that, it's pretty fine. So I was inspired by that. I don't know, I think that if you hang around online, you can sort of see those images that have, you know, you come across images that just have a pattern of like eyes repeating themselves. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but yeah, I used to see those online and I thought those were really cool, so that's kind of what I'm trying to imitate right here. Right now I'm plopping down some eyes which sounds really weird. And then I realized that I don't really have enough. Again, pretty weird sounding, but you know, you get the idea. So I'm drawing a little bit more of those, and I will be gluing them down to create a pattern. And I like them because I think they create a sort of like, you know, they create contrast. If you're doing something purely in black and white, contrast is what you're basing the whole visual interest on, after all, right? At least I think so. God. I don't know how far... I don't know for how long I will be able to talk like that, because, you know, recently I've been having a cold, and today is actually the first time where I woke up and I didn't feel terrible. So, you know, it's going away, but like I'm still not perfectly fine yet. So, a bit of a funny story. I wanted to write down beauty is in the eye of the beholder because I wanted to make that pun. You know, I wanted to make a pun about like the eyes that I have on the page. So I actually went on and I was pretty certain that this is like a saying, and you know, it's not like an actual quote from someone, but I actually did check just because if it was a quote, I wanted to know so that I could credit the person that said it. So yeah, I just thought it was funny because, you know, it's obviously like a saying, but I just wanted to make sure because of the whole ethical art journal thing. So yeah, I'm just going to plop that on top of the photograph to have the sort of, you know, I think that because it's the same type of paper that I used on the other page, it really brings the two pages together, and I really enjoy that. So here you will be able to see the final result, and you know, this is it. And thank you so much for sticking through this video, and you know, have a nice day.